Make it 2 in a row all over again, and welcome to the Showtime Forum. I am Greg Bergman, at Bergman Greg on Twitter and on Instagram. Make sure to follow me. Make sure to follow Showtime Forum for all your Laker needs. Man, this could not have worked out more perfectly for the Lakers today. What happens? You don't have AD. You have AD out today. He has a little bit of an injury, but you have him out today, which, yeah, we can kind of argue maybe it's a little bit of load management and not just him actually being injured. Yes, there is some injury issues with his ribs and his shoulder and the things that are going on, but back-to-back playing against the Warriors, and you kind of figure, all right, this is a perfect game to sit AD in. And then you don't even have to play LeBron James in the fourth quarter, so you technically load manage him to 26 minutes. That could not have worked out more perfectly for the Lakers. It makes me so happy to see that it worked out that way. This is the right way to do it. Let's kind of really go into this. So Anthony Davis yesterday, in between the third and fourth quarters, goes to the locker room to get kind of fixed up, whatever has been with his ribs, whatever it happens to be. But then he comes back in later because he knows he wasn't going to start the fourth quarter anyway. They still get the win. Plus, you have an excuse to not play him the next night without saying it's load management. You're saying it's an injury. So he gets to sit out. And then LeBron doesn't have to play the entire fourth quarter, only plays 26 minutes, and still has a huge double-double. And you beat up on a very, very bad Golden State Warriors team that what you saw in the preseason when the Lakers played them, was it 4 times in the preseason? But they had everything that happened there happened here as well. No height whatsoever. Willie Cauley-Stein at 7 feet is the only guy they have that has any type of height at all. And you saw 2 guys, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, just kind of go bananas. Where JaVale McGee ended up with 18 points, 17 rebounds. 3 blocks. And then you had Dwight Howard go with 15 points, 8 rebounds, and a block. Both of those guys are just was going to eat in that game, and they absolutely did. But since this is all about you guys, the fans, I want to read your comments first because I want you all to feel like you're a part of this and that we're all here, and then I'm going to start answering questions as we go along. Dill Axon Bonella says, hey, Kuz really finding a stroke out there. Yeah, that's from Donovan Bryant 8. Yes, Kuz, we can get all into Kuz very, very soon because a lot of you guys came on here his first couple games and said, Kuz sucks, get him out of here. He's terrible, what a bust. And we kept saying over and over again, hey, just relax on Kuz. He hadn't played since July, August, and he needed some time to find his legs. Looks like he's starting to find his legs a little bit, and that's a huge deal. And his three-point shot looks beautiful, too. So it's all that work that he was doing with Phil Handy, with Lethal Shooter, with all these other guys, even a little bit with Mike Penberthy. The shot looks good. Dylan Exponella also says, what's wrong with you? You looking kind of down to me. Looking kind of down? I'm ecstatic. You kidding me? I was having fun at the game. I was messing around with Alan Sliwa while the game was going on, and we were laughing the whole time. It was an easy game. No, I don't look down at all. I'm not down. I'm very happy. The Lakers are 9-2. There's nothing to be down about. Rob Edelman 1, our Dutch presenter knows it well about Kuz. This is going to be a great player. Yes. Donovan Renee, let's just talk about the Phoenix game. Yeah, that's actually kind of what I was going to do. Should we go backwards and talk about the Phoenix game, or should we talk about this disaster of a Warriors team? Which you really can't learn much from it except for a couple of the things, like Kuzma looked really good. LeBron was able to find his stroke very nicely. Still not finding it at the 3-point line, at the free throw line. Blake St. Clair, the march towards 80-2, then a parade. That would be amazing. Zero chance. Oh, God. Okay. Before I go into more of your stuff, Ray Bay Bay 24, why do you have a ban on MT? I could play along with this bit a little bit longer, but I'm tired of it. I don't think it's a fun bit for me personally anymore. I have no ban on MT. I love MT. I think he's hysterical. I think he's the best. He's very funny. I love when he's in there. There is no ban on him. It's all part of a good, fun time. I'm sorry to ruin the show aura for you, but it's not real. None of that is real. Just forget about that, okay? It's all just Mason messing with me messing with Michael pretending to be upset. That's the extent of it. And now, from now on, I'm going to pretend, just like I always have been. There's a ban, 2 segments. 2 segments. That's what we're going to do for him. See you later on. Prayers up for KCP. A lot of talk about how him struggling, but no player deserves to go down like that. Nobody deserves to be injured, period. And you're absolutely right, Ron. Nobody deserves to be injured. Hopefully everything's okay with him. What they said was an ankle. I heard Mike Trudell on the broadcast from Spectrum when I got back to the studio saying that it's an ankle and he's in X-ray right now, and then we'll be able to see what's going on with him. But hopefully he's going to be okay, because these next couple games are the type of games that he should be able to find his shooting stroke. This is where you kind of want KCP to be like, all right, I'm playing, I'm here. It's just so tough, and I'm not going to say anything bad about him today, but I really, really want to, because there's so many things that he does that drive me absolutely bananas, like going up for a layup and getting the ball stuck in the rim. Okay, that's enough. Alex Trin, 93, easiest win of the season. Absolutely. Look, everybody gives them their best, but let's talk about this for just 1 second. The Warriors suck. They're bad. And I think they're in the perfect position to be really good next year. And they're doing this the complete right way. They're doing it where you don't bring Steph Curry back, period, at this point. Just don't even bring him back. Clay, you don't bring him back. You just you trade D'Angelo Russell around the trade deadline, get some first-round picks, get a lottery pick, and then you're going to be in the top of the lottery too, and then you can have them add on to Steph and Clay and Draymond, and all of a sudden next year your team is completely stacked with a top 5 draft pick possibly. Or you trade those for a player right now. They have so many options of things that they can do, moving guys for draft picks, and then in the offseason moving the draft picks for actual players. It's a great, great idea. They're doing the right thing. It's tanking at a new level, and it's tanking at a good level. It's kind of like when the Spurs tanked for when David Robinson got hurt, went all the way down to the bottom. They ended up getting the number 1 overall pick. Tim Duncan's there, and then you have the Twin Towers. Everything all of a sudden changes right then. So this is what the Warriors are doing. Dash O, man, you're my favorite, David. I love David Portillo, man. This dude is. He's a meme master, but he really screwed up yesterday when he had the 3-headed monster of Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Kuzma in the NWO, but he had the wrong music to it. People getting all upset at you, David, because you decided to choose the wrong music. You're the guy that watches wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling since I was 7 years old, and I found out it was fake. I'm not saying anything bad about wrestling. It just is not for me. So I don't know anything. I don't even know what was Gen X, I think, is the music that you put. I don't even know what that is. So David, you screwed up, and thank you. I like that you said something nice about my hair, but you're doing it to make fun of me, and I don't like that. I'm just kidding. I really don't care in the slightest. Rob Edelman 1, Golden State Warriors end of a dynasty. Nah, it's going to come back next year. They're going to be really good next year and really have to think about it. Phil Down, Frank Vogel is proving to be a huge upgrade over Luke. Offense runs well even without LeBron. Yes. So if you want to talk about Frank Vogel for just a second, Frank Vogel has done nothing but make great second half adjustments. He makes good game-to-game adjustments. I love how much he's into the analytics and really looking into it. He talks about Rajon Rondo and having, a offensive rating of like 120 or whatever it was when he was on the floor. He's looking at the analytics. He's looking at the numbers. He changes things in game and between games that you did not see when you had Luke Walton as your coach. And if you remember correctly, before you hired Luke Walton, and when you were trying to fire Luke Walton and who you were going to bring in, and a lot of the guys that people were talking about was David Fizdale. And David Fizdale is the coach of the Knicks. And now Adrian Wojnarowski is coming out and saying it is inevitable that David Fizdale will be fired from the New York Knicks. I mean, that franchise is a disaster. But at the same time, that's a guy that maybe wouldn't have worked. When we were talking about different coaches, Monty Williams was the guy that I was looking at, and obviously he's doing a great job with Phoenix. But Frank Vogel has been absolutely fantastic in everything that he's done this year. I cannot say anything negative about him. I love that he talks with his other head coaches. I mean, you can call them assistant coaches, but really Jason Kidd and Lionel Hollins are both head coaches that are just playing assistant coaches right now, and they're doing a great job. Bring MT back to ESPN LA. Eric V24. We already talked about that. It's not real. Ben's headspace. Michael Thompson is the best. Love Michael Thompson. Did you see Vogel fired up on the sidelines? So far, I'm a fan of his coaching style. There's nothing to be upset about. This team is 9-2. 9-2. And they're beating good teams. It came out earlier that they had the fourth hardest schedule to start the season so far. Through 10 games, the fourth hardest schedule. And at that time, they were 8-2, and now they're 9-2 against a really bad Warriors team. But still, Ben's headspace also says that Kuz is back. Yes, this is the biggest thing to me. Kyle Kuzma being back is a gigantic boon for this Lakers team, and especially for that second unit, because when you have Kyle Kuzma actually hitting shots on the second unit, it changes the whole game plan. I know he started tonight, but that's only because Anthony Davis was out, and Anthony Davis was going to play, is going to play on Friday. So we're going to see Anthony Davis there. But Kyle Kuzma at one point was 5 of 6 in the game. He was hitting his 3-point shot. He was 3 for 6 from 3-pointer tonight, but he was 7 of 12 overall, 22 points after 23 points last night. The game is starting to come back to him. His 3-point shot is starting to come back to him. There is a lot of things that are really happening that make him back to who he was. His defense still needs work, but he's not playing bad defense. He's staying in front of guys. He's not the best defender in the world, and he's never really going to be. But that would be what he's doing right now, absolutely everything that you need. And with him, and actually Rajon Rondo last night was really good. He set the pace. He was moving. He was finding open guys. He was only allowed to play 15 minutes, but those were good 15 minutes from Rondo last night, and so needed on the second unit, because you have a playmaker now. You have a ball handler on that second unit, and that's kind of what we were talking about. So the addition of Rondo and Kuzma playing well on the second unit makes so there's scoring that is going to come from that second unit, and you can afford to have LeBron and Anthony Davis sit and not be afraid that there's going to be a long stretch of nobody scoring. So those are both two huge pickups for the Lakers right now. Roderick O'Keefe, what's up, man? Roderick O'Keefe came in here, Navy guy, came in and met with Mason in Ireland just on Monday for Veterans Day. Great dude, happy to have you here, and thank you for being on the Showtime Forum YouTube. It says, Kuzma looked good tonight. 3-pointers looking better, but need to keep focusing on his mid-range game. That's his bread and butter. His bread and butter this year is going to be slashing, getting to the basket, and it's going to be hitting 3-pointers. Those are the things that he needs to be able to do. He needs to have a good stroke. 3 for 6 is going to be a typical night for him, where he's taking 6 shots, maybe from behind the arc. Maybe he hits only 2, or he hits 1, or he ends up with like 4 or 5 in a night, but he's going to be taking shots behind the arc, and he needs to be able to hit them with regularity. 3 of 6 from 3-point range, I will take every single night. That's 50%, obviously, since we're doing math, apparently, but it's always going to be there. D-Fanatic, the will move their pick and Russell for another star. They will move their pick and Russell for another star. Absolutely. And then they have a 3-4-headed monster all over again. Just because the Warriors are bad right now, don't expect them to be bad next year too, because they're going to do a lot. Rich Brown says, JaVale and Dwight make us nearly invincible against non-playoff teams. Yes, against non-playoff teams, against teams like the Warriors, who are very small, very limited, look very young. Like, when one of your best players is Jordan Poole, you're not going to be the best. And it also, like, Draymond just isn't Draymond anymore. And this is kind of why I always thought that Draymond should never, ever leave the Warriors, because he's just not Draymond on other teams. And you're kind of already starting to see this with this Warriors team. He doesn't have Clay and Steph and Durant. So his numbers are bad. He was 4 of 10. He did hit a couple threes, but 10 points, 5 assists, 1 board, a steal, a block. Those are decent, but not Draymond Green numbers. He's supposed to be a great defender. He gets in your face and he's a good defender, but not to the levels that we've seen in the past. So that's just not who he is anymore. Um, Dash says KCP had X-rays which showed no fractures. The Lakers say he'll be reevaluated tomorrow. From Tanya Ganguly. Thank you, David. That was a good one. Jay Rashim, it's not Fitz's fault. No, I do not blame Fizdale at all. And for New York, I think New York is just a dumpster fire. And when you have James Dolan as your owner and all the things that he brings to the table, and just you have 75 different power forwards, it's just not a good team. SoCal King 32 on Instagram says, "Are you finally on the Rondo train, Greg?" I've never really been off of the Rondo train, and it really just depends on what you're talking about when it comes to the Rondo train. Rondo on the second unit, getting 15 to 20 minutes a game and just being the guy that is the secondary ball handler when LeBron is off the floor, I love that. Him starting alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis, I don't love that. Because on the first unit, you need a lot of defense, where the second unit, you need scoring. And yeah, it would be great to have that defense, but you're seeing that the Lakers are very good after just holding another team to under what's it called? To under 100 points. And someone's asking about Twitch. No Twitch. Yeah, Justin Stover, I'm sure you're on Twitch, but it says Twitch is on there. I don't know why it says online for Twitch. So this should be going on Twitch. If it's not, jump on over there. I see all of that stuff. So please go over to Twitch. I like when people are on Twitch. Cameron Will says Caruso locked down Booker. His defense is underrated. Caruso does a lot of things that are underrated, and I don't think you know what? Can we just say they're rated at this point now? Because really, Caruso is just a good defender who does the little things. He's always in the right place. He gets his hands on balls. He's able to jump in front of them. He gets steals. He does a lot of the things that you need a guy to do that's coming off the bench, and that's why he's getting the minutes that he is. Alex Caruso is getting over 20 minutes most nights. He had 27 tonight. Blowout win, can't really do it, but still. Nope, this is Tan Marino. Hey, what's up, Tan? But I don't know why you don't have Twitch. It should be on there. Let me check. Twitch.com/Showtime Forum. Showtime Forum. If it's not working, I'm sorry, but it should be up and live. Yeah, I see myself talking to myself, so I don't know what, it might be your computer, but I actually see it on here. So please go check it out again. Let's go back over to the chat, and we see Ryan Cavilla says, who's a good comp for Alex Caruso? It's tough. The way that I put it the other day was he kind of reminds me of Lonzo in a different way, whereas Lonzo, it's not about the numbers. This is the only reason why I think he compares to Lonzo's, because it's not about the numbers. It's the stuff he does off of the court. It's off of the box score, where he gets a rebound, he's pushing just like kind of Lonzo did, where he has hops that you don't really realize that are there. He hits a 3-point shot every once in a while, but his defense is there. He plays really strong on big time guys like he did against Devin Booker. His numbers on the box score look terrible. They're maybe not terrible, but not anything that you would want, except for that he does those types of things just at a very smaller level. And with that, I also think that, this is a second round pick versus the number 2 overall pick. So there's a very big difference there. Ryan Cavilla says, I thought Mike Conley's a much better player. I don't think I can compare him to Mike Conley. AC is a poor man's Ginobili. Okay, Ray Albarbone. I think that one's not so bad. Poor man's Ginobili. Yeah, I mean, definitely a poor man's Ginobili. Ginobili is going to be a Hall of Famer. So it's not in the same level there, but he can be that type of guy. But I like going with somebody like Lonzo just because of the things that he does off of the box score, and maybe not his style of play as much. Let's see. I got Vince Saez says, "Let's go, Greg. Let's go, Lake Show. Are you going to Lakers game Friday versus Kings?" I am, Vince. I will be at the game versus the Kings on Friday. Always happy to be there. I just don't do weekend games. I'm going to go to all the weekday games, as many as I can. But weekends, I will not go to the games. That is family time, family first. That is always the way that I want to go about it. Lakerland, where did that go? I just lost it. I don't know how I did. Lakerland 110,000 says, "What's with the Pau Gasol look?" This is just me. I know, but I've gotten Pau Gasol basically my entire life. I don't have the neck beard though, so that's always nice. I just when I'm at a game, I have to wear a collared shirt. I can't wear a hat. I have to put gel in my hair, which I really hate doing, and it doesn't even look good. The gel's gone because when I'm at work, I put on my headset, and that just ruins everything. So Eh, you know, what are you going to do with that? Isaiah Valentine, that was the most Jewish I think I've ever sounded, by the way. So just going to throw that out there. Isaiah Valentine, good thing we beat the daunting Suns so we could rest against the awful Warriors. I think that's what happened, and we can go back to it because it's been a little while, but it worked perfectly. Anthony Davis got to rest and have load management tonight while tending to an injury that, maybe he did or does or does not have. He's always got little things bothering him, but it's easy to give him that time off right now when you're playing a terrible Warriors team and know that you can blow them out without him. And then LeBron James doesn't even play in the fourth quarter. So you load manage him in the fourth quarter without having to actually load manage him and miss a game. So it was great to see both of those things work out perfectly like that. We need to pray for them to stay healthy because it's early. QNBE 36. Yes, of course. Absolutely, of course. DJ Juice Rock, you wouldn't give AD another game off versus the Kings. If AD wants the game off versus the Kings, he can absolutely have it. At this point, I don't care what happens here in November. I like just piling on these wins. Those are important to me. But if AD needs time off, you give him time off. If he's injured and I want him healthy in March and April and June. I don't want him healthy. I mean, I want him healthy in November, but I don't care if he takes off little bits of times here and there. He's going to end up around 75 games. So he's going to miss easily 7 to 10 games. Let's say he plays somewhere between 72 and 75 games. Stretch out those missed games however you want, but I want him healthy when it matters towards the playoffs. Missing games here in November and December, fine with it. Not a big deal. What's up, Elon562? How you doing, man? Mikey Scoop 22. Huge difference. Huge difference in defensive rotations and shift away from switching everything. That's what they do. And this is Mikey. That's all. I give it all to Frank Vogel and to Lionel Hollins, but mostly to Frank Vogel because he's the guy that's making the adjustments. And no matter what, even if it's other people, we give him credit because we have to give him credit if we take credit away from him for doing other things. Halftime adjustments, game-to-game adjustments. They know that against Toronto, they were getting beat on fast breaks and with the ball moving up court. So what do? They fixed it. That's just how it is. Who's better, PG or AD? R3N3_O. Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is a much better player than Paul George. I think Paul George is very good. I think he's one of the best two-way players in the league. But Anthony Davis is a freaking monster. He is a beast. He does everything. And actually watching him live is so different than watching him on the TV. It's amazing how big he is, how strong he is, how agile he is. Going behind his back, through his legs, through people, around people, spin moves that are kind of like Shaq with the size of him. It's insane. Absolutely, it's AD to me. AD because he's the Laker. That's another reason. Mikey 14220 says would be getting Andre Iguodala in December. I hope so. It really is up to Memphis. Memphis is trying to trade Andre Iguodala. They're a trade partner probably, and even if they will, it wouldn't be until December. But if they don't find a trade partner, then they're going to eventually have to waive him or cut him. And if they do, then he has a choice of where he wants to go. Most likely he's going to be either a Laker or a Clipper from everything that the analysts are saying. And it just makes so much more sense to be a Laker. He gets the playing time as a Laker. He has a good chance of winning a title as a Laker, and he can make a huge difference defensively on the second team as a Laker. It makes so much more sense for him to be here than it would be to be with the Clippers, where you already have a bunch of athletic wings that can guard almost anybody. You don't have that as much here in LA, so it makes sense. He fits better with the Lakers than he does with the Clippers. What row do you sit in at the game, Ryan? I sit next to Alan Sleewood, right above John Ireland, because I have a pass. I'm lucky that way that I have a season credential, so I sit up wherever they really put me. I ask for a seat, and they put me usually next to Alan Sleewood, which happens to be center court, which is pretty damn cool if you ask me. Infamous Diva 7, your hair is amazing. You, Mason Ireland, need a Pantene Pro V sponsorship. Thank you. I appreciate that, but that would be pretty cool. So if Pantene Pro V, if you're watching, I will happily use your shampoo if you pay me money to say that I use your shampoo. So if it's there, have at it. I will talk it up like you've never heard. I will be the biggest Pantene Pro V sponsor you could ever find and say, hey, everybody to use Pantene Pro V. But that's only if you're listening. Otherwise, use like Head and Shoulders or something. Tan Marino 13. Hey, see, you found Twitch. Good. Just popped up weird. What's up, Greg? Great game. What we should have expected. Need to keep winning the games we're supposed to win. Yes, absolutely. Beating the teams you're supposed to win, but also keeping it close and beating the teams that are tough. And they're doing a lot of that. Losing to Toronto was brutal, but you weren't going to win every single game. Losing to the Clippers in the first game of the season, I kind of understand. So it was the first game of the season really wasn't there. Donnie Ekbode, the Bergman blessing. Look, Mason was there. He left after the first quarter. They were winning. So we've already realized the Bergman blessing. I am still undefeated. So thank you, Donnie Ekbode, for putting that in there. The Bergman blessing is real. I have not lost when I have gone to a Staples Center game. They also haven't lost when they've been there, except for I missed the Sunday game against Toronto. So they've lost once. Jace Son says, so is the Mason curse on pause? So here's what we realize about the Mason curse, just so we're all kind of aware. The Mason curse, Steve Mason has a curse when he goes to big games, playoff games, important games. That's when the Mason curse is real and really happens. If he's at a game that is important, the whatever team loses. He loses playoff games for LAFC. The Dodgers lose playoff games that are important when he's there. The Rams lose Super Bowls when he's there. Big time games in the playoffs when he's there. That's just how it happens. When he's at a big game, they lose. And I just want it to live on forever. Let's be honest. Rest LeBron, Aaron Yadagari. Yes, Aaron, they did, and that was fantastic. Only having to play 26 minutes was exactly what you're looking for. Blaze 2010. Why is Vogel playing rotation players late in a decided game? KCP injured. Okay, you have to play somebody, and KCP needs to find his rhythm. So you play KCP in those important plays. He wasn't, and playing Kuzma, who's still trying to find his legs, I'm fine with that too. JaVale and Dwight kind of are mixing and matching right now, so it's okay. Look, Dwight Howard had 20 minutes. JaVale had 28 minutes. I mean, JaVale had only played 11 minutes in games. He really doesn't. He needs the extra time. And for him to come out and have, an 18 and 17 game looks great for his box score. 3 steals, 3 blocks. Those look great for his numbers and how he's been playing recently. So I don't mind them playing the guys that they're playing down at the end there. Alex Trend, Clippers should move to Anaheim. Man, Clippers should move to Seattle. Forget Anaheim. I mean, I understand that Anaheim has all the secondary teams anyway. The Ducks, the Angels, the Clippers, the Chargers. Those are all the secondary LA teams, so it makes sense if the Clippers move there. Get them up there to Seattle. I might even root for them if they're in Seattle. Like, go there. Get out of here. We don't need you here. Tan Marino 13. Interesting that McGee had such a great game without AD. Okay, you can put it on that AD wasn't there, but you also have to put it on the fact that there is nobody on that Warriors team that can stop anybody. Willie Cauley-Stein is not going to be some superstar that's going to go crazy against the Lakers and really stop both Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. It's just not how his game is. So besides that, they don't got anybody. So the height that you have there, you just throw things up. JaVale with his long arms, he's going to get almost everything. It just doesn't make sense. Dinesh Ronaldo Jr. 7 says, Did you the Dwight Howard is back from his old days? Or do you think Dwight Howard is back from his old days? I think yes, because he is healthy and really proud of him and what he is doing so far. I hope he is healthy all season long. I think that's a huge thing. If he's healthy all season long and we're getting the Dwight Howard that we're getting on a regular basis, I'm happy with that. That's great. But do I think he's the same guy as the old? No. I mean, you can see it in him. He doesn't have the same legs that he used to. Like you saw, he tried to dunk from just in front of the free throw line today, and it was short on it. He doesn't have the same lift that he used to. He's still got good touch around the basket. So if you foul him and he throws up a shot, he's still got good touch where he can make that. But it's still not the same as what he was when he was younger. I mean, he's still not the same. He's still a good defensive presence. He's not the same defensive presence that he used to be. Let's see. I got Coach Cole says, was it strange that KCP hurt his ankle after blowing another layup? I mean, he's a disaster. He's in his head. I mean, I don't know how else to think it. You got the fans booing him at Staples Center during games. You got him missing airballing layups in multiple games, and then tonight he gets a wedgie in the rim on a layup tonight. He's totally in his head. He can't figure it out. He's going over the basket. He can't make a layup. Dude just doesn't have it. So when he lands and he hurts his ankle, maybe he plays it up as being a little bit worse than it is because he's kind of been a disaster. I don't really want to say too much negative about KCP anymore because I've absolutely killed him. But I don't think he faked the injury, but I don't think that I think he'll be just fine. Let's see. James Aguilar Jr. says early, but Dwight Howard for sixth man award. Go Lakers. Yeah, very early, but he's got a chance. And actually, I think Kuzma's going to be that guy. I think Kuzma's going to be that guy for the Lakers because of the amount of points he's going to put up. Blake St. Clair, Mason was at Game 7 versus Celtics. The curse started after that. Look, it's got to start. That was also 10 years ago almost. That was 2011. We're in 2019, so was that 8 years ago? That was the Celtics, so that was even earlier. That was 2009. So yeah, 10 years ago. Get out of here. Nope. Faked it because he missed another layup. See, Lake Show 23. I don't think he faked anything, but his ego is a little bit in pain, that's for sure. Lord Raider on YouTube says, the Mason curse is the equivalent of KCP playing great in meaningless games and playing like Kwame Brown when it counts. I love the Mason curse so much. It makes me laugh. Pink2448 says, why did they play Braun past 10 minutes? I mean, he barely played in the second quarter. They took him out early in the first, probably about 6-7 minutes into the first quarter, and then he didn't play well until the second quarter. He did play a little bit more in the second quarter, but they took him out after that. You have to start him in the third quarter because he's a starter. He played some time. He only played 26 minutes, so I don't have a problem with any of it. And without him, those were important points and assists from him. 23 points, 12 assists, block, steal, all that kind of stuff, 6 rebounds. Those are all important things that you need to win these games, and you have to win these games. So because if you don't win them, that's a disaster. 2-9, a 2-9 team in the Warriors, you got to beat, especially to go 9-2. Let's see. I got James Aguilar Jr. Clippers to San Diego. Seattle. Get them to San Diego or to Seattle. Should definitely. Lord Raider agrees. Thank you. X-rays negative on KCP. Laker Facts. Thanks, Laker Facts. I'm very happy you're back here. I haven't seen you in a little while. I'm glad you're back in here. It's always fun when you're in here, and they'd have great stats all the time. So if you want some good stats, go to Laker Facts during the game. They're always putting it out there. DVDs for sale. I hope KCP is all right and gets a clean bill of recovery. Then I hope the Lakers bench a healthy KCP. I don't disagree with any of that. Laker Facts. Did you see Dwight defend KCP on IG? Someone suggested to trade him, and Dwight came to KCP's defense. Well, absolutely, as he should, because here's the thing: KCP is going to be somebody that when it gets into December. And he's only playing 8 minutes. And he's only playing before tonight's game when he played a bunch because it was a blowout. He played 19 minutes tonight. He only had 8 minutes in the game last night against Phoenix when it counted. He only had 4 minutes in the game before that against Toronto in a game when it counted. So you can already see what Frank Vogel is doing. He's not playing KCP against teams that really you need to not play him in. You need scorers out there. Look at Caruso. He's getting those minutes. Rondo is going to be getting those minutes. KCP is going to be at a place where he's only getting 10 minutes a game or less. And when it gets into December and he's available to be traded and he's available to decide whether he wants to be traded or not because he does have that de facto no trade clause, he might be like, hey, yeah, look, just get me to a team that I can go play 25 minutes a game in. Because if I'm only playing 4 to 8 minutes here, it doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm hoping, at least. I hope that he sits there and he says not to me, but to Rob Pelinka and says, look, just get me somewhere where I can get some minutes. Get a draft pick, do whatever you need, but get me somewhere where I can get some minutes. Trade KCP and add Jamal Crawford. Yeah, look, Crawford is a scorer, but that's all he does. Let's see. Blake St. Clair, Celtics was 2010. Yeah, I'm getting all the dates mixed up, but you're right. 2010. He didn't start the second like he normally does. I don't know which one. It's Hex says, "What are your thoughts on Andre Iguodala? Think he will be released? I'm hoping I'm hoping that he's released because I don't think you're going to get any kind of trade value from the Lakers to get Andre Iguodala. They don't really have many draft picks. They don't have much of anything that they can move. So I don't think you're going to do any of that. Maybe a second round pick, but I don't think Memphis is going to take anything that they want for him. So most likely what happens is he's released. He goes to one of the LA teams. Hopefully it's the Lakers. I do think that he fits better on the Lakers because he's more needed, but I don't think that I don't think they're going to trade him or anything along those lines. Let's see. Chris Camelo one. What's up, Chris? Says Nets just added Iman Shumpert. Yeah, sure did. That would have been someone to get instead of KCP. Yeah, I don't think Shump and LeBron get along too well after their time in Cleveland. But maybe they do, but still. We need a good 3-and-D. J.R. Swish. No. I don't think you ever see J.R. Swish back with LeBron at any point in life, period, ever. End of story. I think the only guy that you're really looking for is Andre Iguodala. After that, yes, it is going to be a 3-and-D guy. Here's the thing. When it gets close to trade deadline time in February, they're going to make a move. They're not going to stand pat. They're not going to be like, look, we're good with what we got. They're going to actually make moves. They're going to be, they're going to do whatever they can, whether it's trading Troy Daniels, Cook, whoever needs to go, not Kuzma, because Kuzma is that second star, but they're going to get somebody that's going to be a two-way player. And no, not Carmelo Anthony. He shot himself out of the game. Let's see. Blake St. Clair, the X-rayed KCP's head today, too. Results came back empty. That's just mean. Laker Facts, good point. Get him back to Detroit. I mean, I don't know. You're going to ask for Svi back, which I really wonder. What does Svi's numbers look like? I have not seen Svi's numbers at all since he left. Has he been shooting pretty well? Does anybody know? I haven't paid attention to him at all since he left, and he never really did it for me. I thought he was great in G League games, but he was never able to figure it out with the Lakers starters. So he's played in 7 games. He plays 13 minutes a game. He's shooting 52%. He's averaging 4 points. So it's not on a lot of shots. Let's see. So in 2019-2020, he's 9 of 17, which is pretty good for 31 total points in 7 games. Not a lot of minutes. 10 of 23 overall. Again, not much I'm looking for there. Let's see. Jesus Christ from Donnie Ikpode. Yeah, absolutely. Svi I got killed last year for Svi because I just was never on the Svi bandwagon. And everyone was like, what are you talking about? He's great. He's fantastic. And they traded him and everyone got upset. And he just never figured it out in a game. He couldn't hit a wide open 3-pointer. He was not good around the basket. He did not play good defense. There was just nothing about him that screamed to me like this is the next great shooter in this league. And he's proving to not really get it even in time in Detroit, which is not a very good team. So no, not too much there. KCP got retired now. All right, let's get away from the KCP slander at this point. It's really not needed. Curly Hair Monica says, great win, baby. That's right. It was a great win, and that's 2 great wins in a row. Here's totally different things when it comes to Phoenix and when it comes to Golden State. Golden State necessary, needs to do it, absolutely needs to be win, and it needs to be blowouts like they blow them out. What was that, 120 to 94? Yeah, you win by 26 points. You should be beating the Golden State Warriors by 26 points. Difference when you were in Phoenix the night before, which is a good team. Phoenix can shoot the lights out, can get out on the break, and they did a lot. And the Lakers' defense on the break last night was really, really good. Despite the fact that Phoenix hit, I think, 16 3-pointers, they still were pretty good with their defense around the perimeter. And you still held the team down and won, and were able to come away with a victory in Phoenix. The team that beat the Clippers, a team that beat the Bucks, and have been playing very good basketball to the point where that they had the 5th hardest schedule in the league. The Lakers had the 4th hardest schedule in the league coming in, and The Lakers took both those wins. 9-2 early on is really good to have. Having that ability to have the 7 game lead early on helps when it comes to later on and getting some of these wins that you really, really need. Now, a couple of things that I think the Lakers really need to start shoring up, okay, is turnovers. They had 19 turnovers tonight, and that's too many, even against a bad team like this. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that there was 19 turnovers, and they've been trending upward when it comes to turnovers in general, where they were averaging through the first 5-6 games, they were averaging around 14 and were playing pretty well. They weren't taking care of the ball as much recently, where they're losing and having a lot of turnovers, and it's LeBron partly too, where he's just losing the ball out of bounds. Anthony Davis was not playing great with the ball, with having a bunch of turnovers. Not so much, not that he's playing poorly in any sense, because he's amazing, but not taking care of the ball as much, and having these 19 turnovers are going to start hurting them when it comes later on. Chemistry is the key on this team. Love to see everyone legitimately happy for other success. Sacrifice stats for the chip. R. Henderson 311. Yes, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. And that's why when we're talking about Dwight Howard so much, is because he's a guy that is embracing a role. And he talked about it. I forgot who he was talking to, and maybe someone else can remind me of who he was talking to. But he talked about having a role and how it wasn't a bad thing to have a role. And he's finally kind of understanding that. It's good. Have your role. Be a guy that is just a defensive presence, gets put back dunks, finds a way to, just be in people's faces. It's great to see when guys are just playing to their role. Danny Green is a role player that hits 3-point shots. That's what you're looking for. I like seeing that a lot. Landa89 on Instagram says they had too much Showtime mentality, which resulted in turnovers. Maybe, but I think this team is doing a lot better than it had been. All right, I'm getting close to just about feeling like it's done. I'm ready to go home. It's an early night. I don't have to be home at midnight tonight, so I'm going to answer just a couple more questions, then I'm going to get out of here. Laker facts, great stat. By the way, 70 assists in the last 2 games. 70 assists. That's insane. The Lakers are moving the ball so well. Put it this way. That means if they had 70 assists in the last 2 games, they had 31 tonight. That means 39 against the Phoenix Suns, 31 tonight. That's huge numbers. Do you remember last year, even with guys like LeBron and Rondo and the ball on the team, and they'd have like 19, 20 assists in a game. You're like, how is that happening? But still, so great to see them getting 30 plus assists in games. That's huge. That means your ball is moving. That means your guys are finding themselves open and hitting shots. Very important. Rael Barbone, pickup hoop has me wishing that Darren Collison gets the itch to make a comeback. I thought Darren Collison would have been a great pickup during the offseason, but he retired. So if he comes back, that would be fantastic and a guy that I would love to see. But he would fit so well too. I mean, you'd take probably some minutes away from Caruso and from Cook and from Rondo and from Bradley, but I would really like that too. That's a good one, Ray. I like that. I like that one a lot. Let's see. Lord Raider says the circle of life is coming around. Lakers and Celtics with the top 2 records. Yep. It always happens eventually. There's a reason that they have 17 championships in Boston and they have 16 championships in LA. 2 best teams, 2 best overall franchises. That's what's going to happen. And really, I mean, the San Antonio is a good franchise too. I can't say anything bad about them. Nabil Murday says, remember Blue Chips? Review the tape. KCP was point shaving. Send Nick Nolte to confront him. By the way, great movie. I loved that movie when I was younger. It was so fun to watch a young Shaq and a young Penny Hardaway just going crazy in a game. And it felt so much like the UCLA Bruins, which I'm a Bruin fan, but felt very much like that. It was fun. Let's see. Oh, he was talking to Danny Green on his podcast. There you go. Thank you. Yes. So that was when Dwight Howard was talking to Danny Green on his podcast, talking about how he's a role player and that they are role players, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love that quote. It makes me happy to hear that. Jonathan Watson was incorrect, but it's okay. Blake St. Clair, one more playmaker. PG wouldn't hurt the Lakers, maybe even more important than another wing, but haven't really come up against the league's elite wings yet. Well, the playmaker is Rondo, which, yes. PG wouldn't hurt the Lakers. Point guard wouldn't hurt the Lakers, yes, but you still need... Darren Collison would be fantastic. I just don't know if he comes out of retirement, and if he does, Maybe the Lakers will be a thing he goes to. Lakers 4 straight games with 30-plus assists. Laker facts. That's another great stat. 4 games with 30-plus assists. That means against Toronto you were getting 30-plus assists. That's huge. James Aguilar Jr., be safe, fam. Back on Friday. Lakers vs. Kings. Go Lakers. That's what I'm talking about, James. And with that, I think I'm going to cut this off for the night. Thank you so much for being with Showtime Forum. I am Greg Bergman, at Bergman Greg on Twitter, at Bergman Greg on Instagram. Follow Showtime Forum for all your great stuff. And by the way, if you are not watching this live and you were just watching it later on, this will be in podcast mode. I have to wait an hour. By the time I get home, I will be able to put this up on the site. You will be able to see on as a podcast. This post game will be there, so you don't always have to look at me. You can just listen and have all the questions answered that you have heard there. You just don't get to ask them live. So thank you very much for being with the Showtime Forum. I appreciate all of you. I will be back on Friday after the Kings game. Can't wait to do it. I'll see you guys on Friday. See ya.